You are listening to a clip from the Righteous Tongues podcast, where we speak fluent hip-hop. Hosted by FDT, the BX Boy and D.Bail. For more, please visit grusselmedia.com.
Big shout out to everybody else that's listening, man. We greatly appreciate y'all, yo. Appreciate the support. We also on YouTube right now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Grussel Media USA. That's the YouTube page. Come check us out, all right? So, what we talking about today, y'all?
Alrighty then.
Let's start it out, man. Like I said,
Well, I believe
start off with a
FDT.
little mini rant. Yeah,
Got a rant.
to it. Something
Very.
like it's not major, but I just feel like, you know, it's a lot of hypocrites in hip hop, a lot of hipsters, a lot of people just, you know what I mean, older people over 40 saying hip hop is dead. And just last month, man, we've had some of the hardest projects we've heard in a while from a lot of good rappers. So it's just like, if you're not up to date, you're not paying attention, you gotta get off social media, you gotta stop listening to the radio. Like, it's heat out there, yo. Like, it's bars. But yeah, man, I just want to say that, man. So you got to pay attention, man, and just, you know, stop letting the mumble rap get to you. Just ignore that shit, you know?
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that a lot of the people that criticize mainly what's promoted, you know, on the mainstream. But you're right. If you really want to find a lot of decent material, you just got to look outside of that, you know? And I think that's where you'll find a lot of the stuff that you might feel is lacking from the game in the mainstream.
For people,
so, you know,
listening
the radio,
to the podcast, it's the podcast you need to listen to when you want to find some new hip hop that reminds you some old school 90s type shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
and
not even just 90s type stuff, but just good music.
Yeah, just
you know?
great music in general. Yeah, bars, man.
Yeah, you know.
Some shit that finds your soul.
Yeah, man.
Definitely recommend that for y'all.
And let's keep in mind that, you know, hip-hop was always a youth-driven movement. So the music that's being made right now by the 18 and 19, 20, 21-year-olds and up, it's not for y'all old heads, man. It's not for y'all. You know what I'm saying? If the youth is digging it, they digging it. It's the same way, you know, your parents ain't understand when you was bumping Eric B. and Rakim. You know what I'm saying? And Big Daddy Kane, and they said that rap is crap. I remember that was like the big statement from the old heads back in the day. Old heads. Rap is crap. It's not real music. You know what I'm saying? Let the young people have what they want, and those that want to get deeper into the science behind hip-hop, you know, they will find their way into the matrix. For the rest of them, let them just be out there. They fringe listeners anyway. They not real hip-hop listeners, lovers, or supporters, man. So we got y'all right here on the Righteous Tongues podcast.
Absolutely,
Right.
man.
Right.
Wow,
They
man.
said real hip hop doesn't live on the radio, so stop looking there if you are looking there.
Facts.
So, BX Boy, man, what was your first topic you wanted to talk about today?
Oh boy, wow, there's so much. I mean, we can get into some of these albums, or we could talk. Why don't we start with the news about J. Cole, since that's like fresh off the presses.
Okay.
Now,
So apparently,
we got the J. Cole concert last night, so we're going to definitely get into that too. So go ahead, BX Boy.
yeah. So apparently, he's doing something with Young Thug, which is kind of surprising given that the spaces they occupy in hip hop. But then again, maybe not, because J. Cole's always shown himself to be an individual who's willing to sit down and try to talk to, you know, some of these other acts out here that are really not into lyricism, or maybe not even really into the art of hip hop. Like, I believe Lil Pump, I believe he sat down with him, and, you know, they were kind of discussing the state of the culture. So what y'all think about that?
I mean, I think that J. Cole is one of those people that he embraces the golden age era aesthetics and what we hold as regarding the elements of what a real dope rapper represents. You know what I'm saying? He held himself to that standard. You know,
Yes, he does.
But at the same time, this is also an educated brother. This is a dude that feels a compassion towards the people in his generation. He's not too far removed to sit down and talk to a Young Pump or make music with a Young Thug.
Yeah.
Because there's something about Young Thug that resonates with people, even if it's not you, something that man is doing that resonates with a lot of people, where they hold this man in a high regard. So sometimes it's just more or less about connecting with people. It goes beyond music sometimes. You know, like, I'm a young brother, you a young brother. We both represent the culture, although we're doing it from different ends. But at the end of the day, I'm just vibing with you, man. And J. Cole seems like somebody that he just vibes with people, and he vibes with people well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not gonna hold their music against them. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's a personal connection that he makes with these younger artists that's beyond music, and they just connecting, man. I don't think you should look deeper into it, although I can understand why some people that hold the culture in a high regard would not be overjoyed with a Young Thug and J. Cole collaboration. So I see your point.
Let me interject real quick. Like I said, I was at the J. Cole concert last night. He does have Young Thug and Jaden Smith on tour with him. Completely missed Jaden Smith part. Saw a little bit of Young Thug, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm 20 years old and I'm about to sound like a 50-year-old, but I did not understand a word of what Young Thug was saying. Like, it literally sounds like he was rapping the Fairy Godmother, Cinderella, Bippity Boppity Boo. Like, that's all I could hear. You know what I mean? I just, not to discard, because the beats are hard. I was definitely jumping to it. Like, I beats is hard. Everything has a length.
Like he's rapping in
another language. But just, I personally couldn't understand them. And it's actually, I sat next to two chicks next to me who were, like, as close to my age or older, and they sat down the whole time, and they were just like, they couldn't wait for him to get off stage. Like,
wow.
They were calling him Kitty.
I definitely understand what you're talking about in terms of J. Cole and Young Thug, the unique pairing of the two. But if you remember, like, hip hop has always had those kind of moments where it's like, two different artists on two different ends can bring in two different kind of fan bases, which is double the money. So you got to look at it from that aspect, man. Like, it's just more or less like there's going to be a lot of bread that's going to come into the situation with this. If you remember, Wu-Tang went on tour with Rage Against the Machine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Run DMC went on tour with Aerosmith. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be those unusual pairings that,
I can see that, but J. Cole is the one that strikes me as, needing any bread, or wanting it, and as much as that matter, because, like I said, he was on stage, and brother, like, he woke up that morning, channeled his inner Pop Marley spirit, found some wrinkled up clothes in the laundry. He may have or might not have took a shower, and just fuck on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like J. Cole, like, legit does the homeless, like, not act, but the looks, the style. He legit does that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't even change and during his sets. You know what I'm saying? Like, the last concert I went to was, the Jay-Z concert, and, usually
right.
They change their clothes, they sweat through stuff. The homie didn't change at all. You know what I mean? Not that matters or anything, but it's just really cool and humble to see J. Cole do shit like that, compared to normal rappers who, got mad jewelry on and flashy clothes and, all type of designer shit. You know what I'm saying? It was cool to see that, you know what I mean? Like, he really loves what he does,
No doubt. But let's keep it real. You know what I mean? Although he might look like a bum, dress like a bum, let's not get it twisted like homie is not worried about paying his mortgage like everybody else, man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
fact.
he's still he's still an employee of the record label. You know what I'm saying? He still got to recoup that money. He still got to bring that money back. So, that looks nice. Like, look at some of the rich people in terms of, like, Bill Gates type dudes. You know what I'm saying? Warren Buffett. They got that meme that floats around and it says, look at these dudes. They look like two retired grandfathers, but it's over $1 billion worth of wealth between the both of them. Meanwhile, you got the new rappers all Gucci'd and Ferragamo, Fendi, Balmained out. You know what I'm saying? But their bank accounts ain't really representing the designer clothes that they wearing. You know what I mean? So, exactly. J. Cole strikes me as a guy that's definitely financially responsible, but I'm sure homie cares a lot about his money and making that money. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's putting it to good use. I can see J. Cole being the next celebrity to open up a school. You know what I'm saying? But you still need financial gains for that, bruh.
Right.
That's right. So, gonna talk about this Logic album.
Logic.
Yeah.
Logic
Yeah.
shocked the world, man.
I just want to start by saying, before this Logic album, never listen to Logic. Like, never bothered to even want to, you know,
I'm the
like,
same.
I might listen to like a few songs on YouTube, you know what I mean? And I would just be like, you know, he can rap, but it just wasn't enough to really pull me. I definitely was over the whole, you know, he's biracial, but he doesn't look black at all. Like, not even like a feature. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm not trying to take that away from him, but it's just hard to do. You know what I mean? It's just like every song, like, I'm half black, I'm just like, you don't look it, bro. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? There's some black people that's like that. You know what I mean? You can't help that. You can't help that. You know what I mean? So I just, a lot of times, you know, I just overlooked him. Like, I didn't really bother to give him a chance. And I'd heard good things about this album, listened to the album, and I'm impressed. Like, I was shocked.
Word.
Like, I am a newfound Logic fan. Like, and to the people who listen to Logic and are a fan of his, like, if someone was to tell me, like, yo, this isn't his best work, it's like, now I gotta go listen to what his best shit is. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit was hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it had a nice old school feel to it. You know what I'm saying? He had the whole fucking Wu-Tang on there. You know what I'm saying? Except for ODB, God rest him. You know what I'm saying? But he was there in spirit. Like, he had the whole Wu-Tang on the song.
No doubt.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Shit.
That was crazy.
You know what I mean? Method Man killed that shit. Like, oh my gosh. Like, that was one of the standout tracks. I love that. I love The Return. That was hard. In fact, you shouted out Jay-Z to get on a song with him. Like, I hope response. Like, I would look forward to that.
That would be dope.
And Hov on a track. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, you know, Hov respects Logic. You know, Logic obviously loves Hov. They would try to put their best work out on that song. You know what I mean? So I would definitely look forward to a song like that. The Young's Not Your 4 song was hard. Oh, getting them the hardest song of all. Oh my gosh, like, iconic. You know what I'm saying? He basically remixed Jaden Smith Icon, and it's like, I can't even listen to Icon again after hearing this shit. Like, woo. Cuz killed that track, man. Like, Iconic, that's definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed by Logic, and we'll be going back and listening to some of his older projects as well.
Yeah, man. I you know, I like what Logic did in terms of embracing the underdog role, embracing the student role. You know, like one of the young guys that actually cares about where the culture came from.
Absolutely.
I appreciate.
You can tell that.
You can definitely feel that. Yeah.
I appreciate his work ethic, and I'll be honest with you. Like you, he wasn't somebody that I checked for. But I'm definitely gonna go back and listen to a bit more of his music because I thought the album was very enjoyable. You know, we're not really doing detailed reviews in terms of all of us, you know what I'm saying? But I give it a thumbs up. It's definitely something that you should check for. I haven't heard much Logic being played on the radio, to be real with you, and that's surprising considering that he is a Def Jam artist. You know, he's on a major label. And I haven't really heard any of his songs being played.
Yeah, I haven't really heard too much of him either. Not that I listen to the radio that much. But
yeah, but you know, there's certain songs that you know, like it's considered a record breaks on the radio. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, the song could be hot, everybody loves it, but until it hits the radio, it's not considered to be a hit or a breaking record. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I'm just kind of surprised about the, I want to say, under push of him. And I don't think it's a racial thing, but I think it is the fact that he is biracial like Drake, but he doesn't necessarily look black. Or let's say, instead of saying that he doesn't look black, he could pass for white. I don't know if that has anything to do with the lack of his perceived success. I know that he moved, I want to say, around 190,000 first week. I believe it was definitely within the top 5 of releases from that busy week where we had the Carter 5 also come out and a couple other projects.
Yeah.
But I definitely will be looking out for Logic more, and I feel like he's an artist that's going to survive through the trendiness of these like artists that get like the 1 and 2 year runs. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Logic is gonna be around for a long time, and Def Jam obviously has
He's
invested a
already
lot.
been here a long time.
Yeah, true. He's been here at least.
If you think about it,
Yeah.
a decade almost.
Yeah. I mean,
material for a while. Yeah.
His first mixtape came out 09.
09. So yeah, you could say that. You could say that. And Def
Yeah,
Jam,
that's a long
Def Jam
time.
seems to be invested into him. So it's a good look, man. But definitely an artist I'm checking for. You know, here at the Righteous Tongues podcast. You know what I'm saying? We giving that cosign to your boy Logic.
Let me say this because I was probably the guy least familiar with Logic. I don't think I've even heard a Logic song before
Okay.
I heard this album. So, I kind of went into it, kind of like, I gotta listen to it. And I have to say, I was also, I can't even really say pleasantly surprised because I didn't really have a basis. But, I wasn't expecting to particularly like the album, but I did like it. I didn't love it, but I did like it. I definitely think he's a kid that has something to say, and that he makes some solid music. There was quite a few tracks on it that I liked. The song with Wu-Tang, which I think is a feat in of itself. I mean, a lot of them can't even get their own members to be, all the way on board with some of their projects sometimes, and this kid managed to pull that off.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's major kudos right there. He got every living member, and I think even maybe on an affiliate. I think Scotty Waddy or something like that. But he got every living member. That's big.
That is. Facts.
And let me see. What other records? I like the Thank You record. I like the Last Call, 100 Miles and Running. Really, I thought most of the songs on here were solid. I just think he had a real genuineness to what he was saying. Like a lot of artists, they try to go outside of themselves to prove a point or to I'm this or I'm that, but he's just himself, and I really appreciate that. And I also respected the fact that he had a throwback vibe to his record, which we all kind of touched on, but you could see that he really has an appreciation for what came before. He cares about the culture, where it came from, where it's going, and you could just kind of feel that love. So I have to say, all in all, I enjoyed this album quite a bit. And then I have to say that I will also look back on his catalog to see what else I missed quite a bit, considering he's been out since 09. But I'll definitely have a more definitely have an ear towards what he's doing, in the future as well. So this definitely gets a thumbs up from me. I would encourage people to check it out, and it's a good record, and he can sing. I remember FET was telling me that he can sing, and he can definitely sing. So, and I know in this age of hip hop, where singing and rapping and all of that is kind of being melded into one. That's another area where he kind of stands out and shines. So, all in all, I got to give this a thumbs up, and I will definitely be looking out for whatever he comes out with next. So I like this album, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, respectfully, in 09 and 2010, he might not have been that great of an artist to really been on our radar. Exactly. Like, this might be his breakout project where it's like homie was like in artist development. Because I remember him being out, and I remember hearing a couple of songs, and it just nothing that he made back then really made me say, "Gosh, damn, this is the guy."
What you saying, D.Bail? I want to say something real quick. Is like you right, like that might be the case, and I find that amazing because a lot of times we get rappers, they come in and they're bad shits, whatever they first put out, and they can never match it.
Facts.
So he's a student of the game, and he's getting better with everything he drops. Then I'm happy about that. I'm excited about that.
I am as well.
So
I'm
good with that in a way.
That actually is a perfect segue for my topic. One of the rare situations where artists became better as his career progressed. And although there's been a huge delay in between his last few projects, I want to give a shout out to Lil Wayne for getting his 4th #1 album with the Carter 5, and having the 2nd biggest streaming numbers at over 400 million clocked in for 1 week's works in history. Lil Wayne is one of those artists that I've been listening to since 1998. I can say that. And he has gotten progressively better. I remember
Not
Lil
many
Wayne's...
people can say that.
Not many people can say that. I remember Lil Wayne's first album, The Block Is Hot, solo album, and he didn't curse on the whole entire album. You know what I'm saying? And then progressed from there and became better and better, and then eventually crossed into the New York market, mixtape market, which is one of the toughest markets for any artist to show and prove. And Lil Wayne is a big part of the Dirty South receiving that recognition in terms of people from the East Coast saying, yo, this boy got heat. Lil Wayne is on every mixtape, tearing it down. Classic mixtapes, you know, the Dedication series with DJ Drama, the Drought series. So, like, Wayne is back. And the Carter 5 is not his best project. You know, I'm not going to put it to that point, but I want to say that it's a very solid effort from Wayne. He gives us 23 tracks as if we still in the 90s. You know, most artists nowadays, their albums are like 12 to 13
10,
tracks.
11, yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? So although it might have been an overkill in terms of songs or more than we're currently used to, I can appreciate Lil Wayne giving us 23 tracks with a diverse list of producers, a lot of different sounds on the Carter 5. And just the legacy of an artist that has went through a lot of trials and tribulations, been signed to one record label for his entire life, and recently got a victory and was free from Cash Money Records. So this is his first project on his own. And for him to move 480,000 copies in 1 week, almost gold. A lot of people did not expect those numbers from Lil Wayne at all. The industry definitely was surprised to get that. So Lil Wayne is still in high demand. Lil Wayne is still in line, and you gotta talk about him within this current mix of the generation, because other than Travis Scott and Drake, I don't believe any other hip hop artist has had those numbers thus far this year. So kudos to Lil Weezy, man.
Yeah, much respect.
Yeah,
man.
definitely.
Much respect. Like I said, he's the reason, you know what I mean, most of the people sound the way they sound.
Say
like
that.
Rappers coming up, because they are.
Better or worse.
Say that.
Better or worse.
Better or worse,
came
exactly.
Up under Weezy and all that stuff. But like I said, it was a good, you know, fresh sound of Weezy to hear, even though some of the songs felt dated.
Yeah, definitely. It's
like
probably been sitting for a little bit,
know,
man.
Yeah, it's definitely been sitting. Like I said, I remember Lil Wayne dedication to the Carter 2. Like, you know, that was my height of my, you know, Lil Wayne fandom.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's the best Lil Wayne album. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just, you know, he put out so much music. You know what I'm saying? From you know, 2006 to 2011, like, he pretty much flooded the market. It was just so much of Lil Wayne that I just didn't want to hear him anymore. And so I definitely one of the people that, you know, I felt bad from listening to Wayne. I haven't heard every single Wayne mixtape, because a lot of times I'm just like, man, it's, you know, it sounds good, but it's, you know, still it's just the same. Like, you know what I mean? There wasn't anything really changing or adapting with Lil Wayne. It was just the same Lil Wayne type music that you're going to get. But like I said, with that being said, I thought the album was okay. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that, you know, I'll probably listen to on a daily basis, like I'm listening to, you know, Logic shit. But, you know, like I said, it probably could have been better if it wasn't the same music from 2014. But with that being said, it wasn't bad. It was okay. You know what I mean? It wasn't great. It wasn't spectacular. It just was okay. You know what I mean? Like my standout track is, of course, Uproar. You know what I'm saying? Special delivery beat. You know, did a good job on that.
Right.
Definitely had me Harlem shaking in my seat when it first came on, but that's about it, man. So I just think that was just okay, in my opinion.
As for me, I have to admit, I actually like this album quite a bit. Now I do agree with FDT. I don't think it was great, and I'm not the biggest Lil Wayne fan. For the listeners, they should know I'm not the biggest Lil Wayne fan. I never really thought he had the most substance, or he just was never really my cup of tea. But I do think the Carter 2 was his best work. But I have to say, I did like this album more than I thought I would. Maybe that's a better thing to say, because Lil Wayne at this juncture, I think a lot of people feel that he's kind of on the maybe on the tail end of his career, or he's kind of
right.
Maybe not as sharp as he used to be or whatnot. But I actually thought this was probably his most introspective album. I thought that I really got more of a feel for like who he is outside of the typical stuff that he tends to rap about. Women, guns, drugs. The things of that nature. I really thought he kind of really went in deep with some of the stuff that he was talking about, like the song like Open Letter, when just like having his mom on the album, kind of just talking about some of the things, when they were growing up. I just felt that you got more of a sense of, Lil Wayne the person, rather than just kind of, just the same old that you tend to get with a lot of his albums, like, from his early days, with The Block Is Hot to like the Carter 3, which was his most successful commercial album. But to me, really wasn't saying too much. I mean, it had its hits, it had a lot of hits.
Right.
But for me, I just felt it was lacking in other areas. But this album, it's not great, but I thought that it was good, and that you really got a chance to really like, okay, this is what Lil Wayne is kind of, I thought it was.
Respect.
I thought it was a solid effort, especially for this juncture of his career. Where he might not be he's not as hot as he used to be, but I thought this was pretty solid, and I thought he had some solid features on here too. I really like the song with the Triple X. That's one of my. I never really listened to him too much, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And like
I forgot about that.
When he was living, but I thought that track went hard.
Yeah, me too.
I like the record with Snoop. I like there's just quite a few records on here I liked. I really enjoyed. I'd say most of them. Like I said, not great, but I thought they were solid, and some of them I thought did rise to an occasion where they were really good. Especially the tracks where he would talk more about the struggle growing up and just some of his own personal struggles that he had, whether it's between the label situations or with his health, because he's had a lot of health scares, in recent years with the seizures and things of that nature.
Yeah, true.
I have to give this album a thumbs up. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I think you get more than the surface level with Wayne here. I think you get more Lil Wayne the man, Lil Wayne the artist, rather than just talking about the same old. So for me, it's a solid album, and I like it. I like it quite a bit. I know I've talked to quite a few people, co-workers and things of that nature, and they're kind of like, I ain't really like it. But to me, I actually thought this was one of his better albums. To me.
Okay, just to clarify real quick, in terms of record sales for this week, in regards, to Lil Wayne and Logic. Logic numbers stand at 167,000, and Lil Wayne stands at 480,000 for the week in terms of sales. So 167 for Logic and 480 for Lil Wayne.
This goes to show Lil Wayne, even at this point of his career, his name still holds some weight.
Definitely, man.
Still holds some weight,
Without a doubt, man.
I gotta be honest. Honestly, I think I enjoyed this album a little bit more than Logic's album.
Wow.
To be honest with you, yeah, I think I did.
Wow.
It surprises me.
I would say the diversity of the production on the Carter 5 definitely had me feeling the same way. I mean, Logic's album seemed like it had theme-wise production status. It was kind of like the same. Yeah. Where Lil Wayne had a lot of different waves in terms of beats and producers on his album, from Zaytoven to Swizz.
He did.
To Manny Fresh. Like, he had a lot of different vibes on there. It's like has something for everybody on there. Whereas I feel like
It's that different energy. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I feel like for
Logic did have a theme. Yeah,
it's more of like that particular fan. Like if you like '90s like throwback style hip hop, even the production, like it was like very very throwback production on Logic's album, which is great, very refreshing to hear. But if you're not a fan of like a lot of that boom bap type of production, then you might like Lil Wayne's a little bit more.
I'm a fan of that. So
Oh yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
I'm sorry, the Logic album to me was definitely lyrically better than Wayne's. Let's not even go there.
No, of course it was. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It surprised me that I actually like Wayne's joint more than Logic, because y'all know I'm probably the biggest '90s boom bap head here. Well, D.Bail might challenge, but and FDT too, and FDT as well. So it's just kind of like, it's crazy to me, but yeah.
I can appreciate the '90s. Don't get me wrong, but I also. I rocks with Chief Keef, some of his music. You know what I'm saying? I could appreciate, 6ix9ine wilding out.
I could appreciate some of it too. I mean,
so it's like I do like the boom bap. Yeah, like I know that's what I'm saying. FDT, like he ain't rocking with none of that. He ain't rocking with none of that.
I can appreciate it, but I mean, I can only stand but so much of it before I can turn back.
Okay, yeah.
That's where I'm at with
certain music works in the gym. Like if you throw on Chief Keef's first mixtape, you know what I'm saying, and Back from the Dead in the gym, you just lift.
6ix9ine in the gym. I'm not gonna lie. You're right. I ain't gonna lie. It has its place.
It has its place. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Exactly. Like I don't want to hear no boom bap. I'm not listening to Illmatic in the gym, bruh. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
I love Illmatic, but it's a different kind of vibe. Like give me some 50. Give me some like aggressive music.
DMX, DMX
exactly.
Perfect for that.
Exactly,
He's still
bro.
boom bap,
No doubt. That's what I'm talking about. So, yeah, but I think FDT he's a little further from the spectrum. Like, and he's the youngest one on the podcast, but he ain't rocking with no drill rappers. He ain't rocking with no mumble rappers. Like, he ain't doing that, bro.
I'm not either. I just can appreciate what they bring in certain settings.
Okay.
But I mean, you won't catch me listening to I don't know, generic Chirac rapper number 7. And I'm like, nah, it's not going down like that. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
But I can appreciate the third settings in the club and all, but nah, when it comes to my personal listening and what I really, that's nowhere near my tape deck.
No doubt.
Computer or whatever. But yeah, it's about appreciating different things.
I like old school shit, and we're gonna get to an album that definitely sound like it had a nice old school. Well, not really an album, it was a mixtape. Pardon me. Papoose.
Papoose.
Streets mixtape, man.
Ooh. The Papoose joint was hard. I like that, but my favorite is definitely the Styles P. Davies show, which we could talk about later. But that was, to me, that was the creme de la crop for me.
Yeah, the mixture of the old and the young. But to comment on the Papoose, listen, man, I honestly, it's hard for me not to feel some type of way about Papoose not being bigger than he is, man. Because I just always felt like
his talent is so much more than
I just honestly feel like he really embodies, what hip hop is all about. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely. You're absolutely right about that, completely.
But he's getting his fame in different ways. You know what I'm saying? He's getting his fame loving hip hop. Remy Martin and him got a brand new show coming out. So it's like he's getting known, but I just feel like he should hold a higher stature in everybody's lineup. You know what I mean? But he is not allowing that to let him become bitter and stop making music, because I see a lot of cats that they feel like, my music doesn't fit into the current landscape of what hip hop is.
Not appreciated.
You know what I mean? So why am I gonna continue to make music? But for Pap, it's like, I'm gonna keep dropping music, bro, and I'm gonna keep dropping music until the narrative switches back to what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this mixtape is all about. and it's vintage Pat, just in a new setting. He's still sharp. He's still bringing a heck
Really
of an
good.
effort, and
He spits hard and he drops knowledge too at the same time.
Knowledge, bro, whole lots of it. You feel me? Whole lots of it.
He's just a spitter. He's just a spitter, man. But I totally agree with you, D.Bail and FTT. That it's a travesty that he's just not more appreciated. And I mean, I think he is by his peers, but just in terms of this culture, it just makes me sad. And I feel like sometimes he came out in the wrong era. Although maybe if he came out in the 90s, there was such a great amount of talent, he still might have got, overshadowed. A lot of dope rappers back then did. But I just feel like his talents as a spitter would have been so much more appreciated. But yeah, you're right. He completely embodies what hip hop is, and it's just a beautiful thing to see that in spite of whatever the culture may be emphasizing now, he's still not changing. He's still doing him, and he's just trying to bring it back. He's trying to bring that respect for lyricism and rapping, and standing behind what you say and writing your own lyrics and just being your own artist and saying what you want to say, and he's doing that.
Papoose.
Kudos to him, and this is a great project.
Papoose is regarded to be definitely one of the first artists to get regular rotation on Hot 97, just off the strength of being on a mixtape. Like, that was a kudos that he was one of the first to proclaim, like, yo, I'm the first mixtape artist in regular rotation. He caught a bad deal. He caught a good deal. He got a $4 million deal from Jive. He dropped one single with Snoop Dogg. And I feel like the label just didn't really know how to market him or what to do with him. And, his album got delayed.
They say that K. Slade's, some of his business maybe wasn't in order, and that might have hurt Papoose as well. I don't know how true it is.
I don't know, because this mixtape is with K. Slay. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. It's not vintage K. Slay where he's like talking over the tracks, but it's a K. Slay.
That's true, but
he's still rocking with him.
I've just heard that. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything that he did to him, but it's just that maybe certain things. K. Slay might have made certain people angry, and that might have kind of stunted Papoose from being bigger. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard this.
Maybe. I mean,
it might not be true, though.
I just want to add to it that, like, yo, I've been listening to Pat. Like, I'm 28 years old. I've listened to Papoose since 2004. So literally, half my life, 14 years, I've been listening to Papoose. And
I think I first heard him in
never fallen off lyrically.
Never.
In my eyes. Like, there's not a point in time where I could be like, yo, back in 2011, that's when Papoose spit his best shit. He don't even
he's still spitting.
I can't say it. Like, it still sounds just as good. He's, like you say, he's dropping jewels. He's dropping knowledge. He can spit street shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He has bought, and he can switch up flows as he greatly demonstrated on the intro track of the new mixtape he just dropped.
Facts.
It's, you know what I'm saying? Like this guy's a true wordsmith at the game. Like, he's a master at this shit. You know what I'm saying?
He is, and Pap is
the recognition that he deserves as a rapper. I feel like he should be way bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's my whole point. Like, and I take it back to people like Eminem. Like, Eminem's a technically skilled rapper. He can put words together, but he ain't talking about shit. You know what I'm saying? Papoose is just
you were saying that. Knowledge. You were saying that about Eminem, and I completely agree with you. Eminem knows who to target, and not to make this another Eminem segment.
Right.
He knows who to target. I mean, there's certain artists he won't dare front on, and Papoose is one of them. And Papoose has been calling Jay-Z and certain other artists out, and they you don't hear a word from them. You don't hear a peep.
Nobody wants that smoke. Nobody wants that smoke with Pat, man.
And I would love to see Eminem, since he's out there, sending shots and challenging hip hop. Challenge Pat.
And let's not forget, like I said, Pat ain't scared, because even back a couple years ago, back in 2012, when Kendrick Lamar, remember that Control verse?
Woo!
Yeah, he responded.
He said he was the king of New York, and he was name dropping a bunch of people. Papoose was one of the main people that came at Kendrick. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't even named on the song. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying he was like, yo, good looking on that Summer Jam shit, but you ain't the king of shit. And and
he
Kendrick
did.
didn't respond. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Kendrick
it's
did
funny.
not
It wasn't even addressed to Papoose, but he said, "Yo, talking about New York, it's my city."
Yeah,
And
I gotta
that's it.
come at you when he did that, and I gotta give him major respect. There's a lot of
He did his thing,
legendary
That was
rappers
quiet.
didn't do a damn thing when he
Quiet.
said, didn't even say anything. It was quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You know
And
what I'm saying? So,
one thing to remember about Papoose is that he's a student of the old school of like Brooklyn rappers.
No
He
doubt.
even made a cameo. I don't know if y'all saw the video, Smooth the Hustler's video. I think Broken Language.
Yeah.
Classic hip-hop song.
He was
If
in
y'all know
there.
about it, check it out. And for the audience too, you know. But he made a cameo in that video. I think Big L was in it too. So you know he's been around some spitters. You know some real New York legends. So it's just you know he's a student of that, and it's good to see him continuing to just kind of be coming out of that legacy, continuing just to spit and represent New York hip hop the right way. Because you got a lot of guys and gals from New York rapping, and you know, less said about that the better. But I'm glad to see Papoose just rocking the right way. And he's an artist that makes me proud to be from New York and to love New York hip hop, particularly in this day and age. So
Yeah, man, I agree. I agree with you on that.
Great statement.
You know? So shall we get into, fellas, the Styles P and Dave East?
Styles P and Dave
Another
East.
reason to be proud of being from New York right there, man.
Sir, yes,
Get in
sir,
there,
FDT.
D.Bail. Go ahead.
Why should people check for this, man? Why? What was it about this album that really sealed the deal for you, BX boy?
Which album you talking about?
Beloved, Styles P and Dave East.
Oh, man. Wow, I love both artists so much, man. I always respected Styles P. He's just just seems like a stand-up dude. I don't know him, but he just seems so stand-up. He can spit, part of a legendary group with the Locks. But speaking more clearly to this album, man, I just thought this was just such a great project for New York hip-hop, man. I love the beats. I love the production. I love what they were saying. I love how their contrast and styles bounced off of each other. I just really enjoyed this record, man. I think I liked every track, and I can't say that about all the other albums that we've talked about. But on this, I'm not sure there was any track that I could say, I didn't really like it. I pretty much liked every track on it, and just to listen,
Smooth listen, yeah.
And just to maybe mention a few tracks that I like the most, I say Cut from a Different Cloth, Load My Gun,
Featuring
Beloved.
Locks.
That was my favorite.
The title track, Beloved. Man, it's just the entire album is fire, man. And if people haven't heard it, please check that out, because it's dope, man. Support the real. Support, artists that actually write their stuff, but it's just real artists, man. Just support that. I really like it. Definitely my favorite of all the records that we talked about.
Well, I definitely like the way that the Locks have, branded themselves as legends, not only as a group but as individuals, as solo artists. This is not the first time that Styles P has done collabo albums or mixtapes.
It's something with Kweli too. Talib Kweli.
He has.
He's been out there. He's been active.
He's been out there. He dropped a joint project with Talib Kweli, as you just mentioned. He also dropped a joint project with Currency from New Orleans.
Currency.
Before then. So this is, the Locks, Styles P in particular, they align themselves with a lot of the younger artists, and it never seems like it's put together. Like, this is something the label wants.
It's not a gimmick, yeah.
Right, yeah. It always seems like you can really see Dave East and Styles P hanging out beyond the studio. They just real dudes that they just vibe together. So the music came off to me just very natural. And it was just great music, man. And you could tell they made it for people that are looking for that certain kind of aesthetic that we missed out on. But the good thing about it, it's not, yo, this is an OG project or this is just new cats. This is like the best of both generations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and both can spit.
yeah, both can
Yeah.
spit and, you know, still sharpen steel. So it's like one of those things where it's like they're both going to complement each other. And shout out to Def Jam for allowing a lot of these collabo projects to go down, because a lot of times, especially in the 90s, like we experienced so many politics behind the scenes with the labels. There was so many collabo albums that were supposed to happen that didn't or were done where the expectations did not reach what they were supposed to. An example, the Firm album. You know what I'm saying? Like the Firm album was delayed and dealt with so many politics and conflicts of just the labels and different artists from different labels and
a lot of problems.
a lot of problems. So Def Jam is like they're letting these deals happen. You know, Jadakiss and Fabulous also dropped a joint album, and they're on two different labels.
Good album too,
Right. So it's like, you know, Styles P is not a Def Jam artist. So for them to allow this to happen,
he also dropped his solo album early this year too.
He sure did. So Styles P has been very busy. Dave East has been very busy.
I don't think I heard that album yet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they both.
I gotta check it out, man. I gotta check it out.
Ghost Kill.
Yep. So
Ghost Kill.
So big ups to
solid album.
You know, the labels for allowing these projects, these organic projects, to happen without a whole bunch of you know, wait time. Like we didn't have to wait 10 years for this project. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, another project that would have been dope could have happened back in the 90s, and Sheik and Ghostface ended up pulling it off, was the Woo Block project.
Woo Block,
but that was like, yo, it was cool, but like everybody wanted that 10 years before that. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I'm glad that we're getting these like organic, really dope projects happening. Because I remember FDT had tagged me and the BX Boy in a post on Facebook stating that the album was going to drop. But we didn't expect it to drop. Like it just came out like boom, like I saw the ad.
Can I add to that?
Facts.
Can I add to that real quick? Yo.
Facts.
Like you said, I saw it on Facebook and I just was like, what? Like this is like we're getting an album, a collab with Styles P and Dave East. Like you already know, like Dave East, and shout out Styles a lot. Like is you know, being, you know, some of his favorite rappers growing up. And for them to get to work together and be on the same track, like this is when New York is at its best, man. Like you know, there was a lot of tension in the '90s.
Let's go.
And, like just to think if some of them rappers back in the day got to do certain collab albums with each other in their prime, you know what I mean? So it's like it's good to see unity in New York and for us to get these type of albums, because like I said, Dave East is the only person, you know, that he worked with Styles P. He just did a track with Papoose and Sheik Louch, Pat's new mixtape that we just finished talking about. That's another great track.
Facts.
It's called The Flow. If anybody didn't hear that yet, go listen to that whole mixtape. But it's just good to see, like, you know, a mentor and a student role, and not just be on a song, but a whole album together, and just go off each other's energy. You know what I'm saying? Because Styles is in the booth giving Dave East that wisdom. Dave East is giving him young energy to feed off. So it's like, you know what I mean? It was a great thing, man. I love that album.
It was like the perfect marriage musically. Definitely, I'm feeling that big.
Because it was just like one generation to the next generation with respect.
Respect.
A lot of
they're both
rappers out nowadays, they don't respect the older generation, but you know, Dave East is one of those type of rappers. So kudos to him, man. Respect,
man.
No doubt.
We are clocking in at 53 minutes right now. I think we got time for maybe one more topic. I don't know what you guys want to speak on, because I just want to talk to you guys after the podcast for a little bit too. So
no doubt, but
I'm good. I mean, if anything else, we can go.
Well, I got one more topic. It's a little bit off of music, but it is related to music, and that's your homeboy and mine, and all of us, whether we wish he was or not, but Mr. Kanye West.
Kanye.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the things that he's been saying and doing. So, for those of you that don't know, he was on SNL not too long ago, and I believe at the end of the show, he gave, I guess you could call it a rant, kind of about Donald Trump and talking about Democrats and liberals and destroying the black family, and that was basically kind of the gist of what he was talking about. And apparently the people at SNL didn't take that too well, and I believe Chris Rock was actually in the background just laughing at him. You know, and he had his little, MAGA hat on. And then also recently, Kanye was talking about trying to get Colin Kaepernick to meet with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I believe even Ebro in the morning, on 97, mentioned that Kanye reached out to him to see if he could maybe talk to Kaepernick to see if he would be down to do it. And Ebro basically shut that down.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering kind of what y'all thought about the things that Kanye's been saying. He's obviously been a vocal supporter of Trump, and obviously, supports, I guess, a lot of what he's doing. And he's willing to really kind of, stake his, I guess, popularity or whatever on, what he believes in. So I just wanted to get y'all thoughts about all the things that he's been doing, if y'all really even care at this point what Kanye thinks or how he feels, and just get your quick thoughts on that.
Personally, I was always taught that, idolizing, or you know what I'm saying, like just from a biblical perspective, idolizing people is what leads to a lot of failure, a lot of disappointment, a lot of heartbreak.
That's right.
So I guess if I idolize Kanye West, I would feel some type of way right now. But I look at Kanye West like he's a human being just like myself, except he's in a financially different space. He's in a different headspace altogether. He has allegedly suffered from mental illness. The brother has a lot going on right now. And if he chooses to ride with Donald Trump at this point, that's his personal business, because I don't put that much faith in a man. Like, in order for you to be really upset at what Kanye is saying and doing, you have to have a lot emotionally invested into Kanye West as a person. You have to feel
you just don't.
as if like I follow what Kanye West does to a T. And if he does something that pisses me off, it changes my life aesthetically. Like, you have to be that invested in that man. I'm just not that invested into that man. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. He believes that Donald Trump is this great guy. And from his perspective, that honestly may be true. He really might be true. But people they're upset because they hold him in such a high regard. And I think it just goes back down to us as people, as human beings, to stop putting so much faith and stock into people, man. So that way we're not that heartbreaking when they decide to make a choice or do something that we totally think is against our own personal values, man. Like, we're not in the same world or the same headspace as Kanye West. So I can't relate to what he's saying. I can't relate to what he's doing. I can't relate to how he's living. We have nothing in common other than the fact that he's a black man and I'm a black man and we live in America. That's the only thing that we have in common, yo.
That's it.
So, yo, man, I wish him the best, man. Like, I don't care, man. I've expressed that sentiment a number of times on this podcast, and people, and you know what makes me mad is that people are mad because you're not mad. Like, they're like, how can you not be mad at Kanye? And I'm like, I have goals in life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the emotional energy to invest
to devote being angry at him.
Like, I'm trying to get through the day as D.Bail. I'm trying to get through the day and find my way. Like, let that man do what he wants to do. And not for nothing, the more people that pay attention to it, the more he has to say. So it's like, the fact that people keep putting what he's saying on such a high status, and it's not you, it's a trending topic. But the fact that people keep making it a trending topic that's why it continues to affect everybody's feeling. Yeah. So listen, man, I don't agree with most of what he says. He also said that he has an issue. Number one, two things before I let the next person speak. The man said he doesn't read books. Like,
Yeah, he did say that.
I can't take anything that he ever says, like, seriously when it comes to historical, factual information. I can't, because you said you don't read.
He's already shown himself to not know what he's talking about when it comes to that.
All right, and then the second thing that he said was that it's hard for him to sometimes he expresses things awkwardly, like the whole slavery was a choice thing. Like when he was on the radio stations in Chicago and he kind of reworded what he said. I kind of understood where he was trying to go with it, but so I understand that his first thought that he blurts out is not worthy of my emotional attention because he's not even sure where he's going with it.
He's not even sure yet.
If you notice the last TMZ interview, when they asked him a question, he said, "You know what? Let me go think about that, and I'll get back to you," because he doesn't want to be in a place anymore where he's just kind of throwing out information. So even what he said about the 13th Amendment being eradicated, initially when I heard, I said, "Wait a minute, this man doesn't want slavery to be illegal." But then when I thought about the context of what he was saying, upon further research, if you watch the documentary 13th, they say that slavery is outlawed and illegal in this country except for as a punishment for a crime, meaning that if you do commit a crime, basically slavery can be reenacted for you. Yeah. So in that context, he's saying the 13th Amendment should be eradicated because if you become a prisoner, it doesn't mean you should be a slave again. So, all right, boom. I understand that, brother. I got you. But just the way that he presents the information, I don't have time for all of that, bro. Like, I'd rather just do history on my own and base my personal experiences on how I feel. I'm looking at what Trump is doing as a president. I'm looking at the whole spectrum. I don't need Kanye West's opinion to drive me or push me in a certain direction, yo. I don't. That's my thought.
Me neither. FDT. You're wrong.
Yeah, like I said, my whole thing with this is just Kanye West is basically the new Michael Jackson. And I'm not talking in terms of musical talent or genius. I mean as when a celebrity does something stupid, this is the person that we all, get hype over and, lose our minds about. Not really lose our minds about, but this is the distraction that, is set out in place. We no longer have Michael Jackson anymore. Now we have Kanye West.
Wow.
And
that's deep.
I don't know if the man is really trolling at this point. Is he crying out for help?
I don't think so. I don't think he's trolling.
He said he keeps saying that he's out of the what's the
sunken place.
Gotta get out.
Sunken place.
Sunken place. Yeah, he's out of the sunken place. And for him to say that he's out of the sunken place, which means he knows that he's been in the sunken place, and I don't think that he knows he's still in the sunken place.
Right.
It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like he's out the sunken place at all. Like I can understand he's trying to be this spread love, positivity type guy, but it's just at this point, like D.Bail said, who cares? Like I don't have the time and energy to worry about what Kanye does. It's just ridiculous. Like, can we get back to the music?
Yeah, right.
Can we get back to something relevant? You know what I'm saying? Because Kanye's just talking.
Yeah.
You have to do anything that's really benefiting the shit that he's talking about. You know what I mean? Not that I haven't seen it. He's doing it. I haven't seen it yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron just donated a school. Where's Kanye's school?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not to compare, there's different money. But I'm just saying that the shit that Kanye's talking, when is he going to back it up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're saying Trump's a great guy. You wearing the MAG hat, and then you got the Colin Kaepernick with sweatshirt on. Like,
right.
Come on, bro.
Like, who are you?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're tripping right now. Like, it looks bad. But, again, I'm going to let Kanye be great. Cause like I said, what he eat don't make me shit. And at this point, whatever Kanye does, I'm not even surprised anymore. It's just, that's fucking Kanye at this point.
Yeah. That's
And just to give it a last word on this, the only thing I'll say is that I agree with what y'all saying, and basically is that you shouldn't give this man any attention or any emotional energy.
Any energy.
Because life is hard enough as it is without trying to summon up enough energy to be angry or happy or whatever about what this man is doing. Like I said, focus on the music. If you make good music, great, support him. If not, I don't know what to tell you. The only other thing I would say about that is that it might become a problem musically if he starts letting his politics or newfound politics or whatever start infiltrating his music. Will that turn his fans against him? But thus far, we haven't seen that. But if that happens, then that becomes a music problem as well. And some artists have done that over various points on the political spectrum. They let their politics kind of seep into their music to the point that even their fans can't fully enjoy the music no more. So that's something to potentially look out for. But yeah, man, as far as Kanye goes, it's wasted energy to be mad about what he does. Because, one minute he's here, the next minute he's there. One day he thinks he's a god, the next minute he's like, oh, I'm back from the sunken place. So with him, you never know what Kanye you're gonna get. And as far as it relates to Kaepernick, I support what Ebro said, that he didn't help Kanye let that go through. Because honestly, after what Donald Trump said, first thing there needs to be an apology from the president's side before anything. Once that happens, then if you want to establish a dialogue and see if maybe y'all can talk or whatever, if you feel it'll bear any kind of fruit, whatever. But
that we know that ain't gonna happen.
That man was that man was disrespected. His job was targeted, and this man's talking reckless. So I mean, if you're not even willing to apologize, and like you said, President, we all know how he is about that. So at this point, it's just best, but you go your way, I'll go my way. Keep it respectful, keep it moving, not wasting time and energy, and that's it, man.
Word, man. So once again, we appreciate all the listeners for checking in to the Righteous Tongues podcast, where we speak fluent hip hop, and we just gonna sign off. FDT.
Yo, man, like I told y'all, it was gonna be a great podcast. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope everyone found it informative. You know what I'm saying? Hope everybody having a good weekend. And yeah, man, peace.
BX boy.
It's the BX boy. I just want to thank y'all once again for making us a part of your day, your week, just for letting us come in and just do what we love. And hopefully you'll be back same time, same place. And thanks for rocking with us. Peace.
Yo, we appreciate all of y'all checking us out. YouTube.com/Gressel Media USA, and soon to be coming on more digital platforms such as Podbean and iTunes very, very soon. Thanks for checking out the Righteous Tongues podcast. Media art specialist D.Bail. Y'all can catch us on